Hey, Wayne Williams, speaking of horses, welcome. Hey, we are at Friesians of Majesty, a beautiful farm in Townsend, Vermont. And I've worked many times with Friesians of Majesty. Beautiful horses, beautiful setting. And we're here to show you some of the festivities or activities that go on here. We're here during a high school girls 1-week camp at Friesians of Majesty. They get riding lessons. That's going on behind us right now. They get driving lessons, dressage lessons. They have cookouts and activities and sharing some of the chores, and really spend a week enjoying what the horses and this horse camp are all about here in the beautiful mountain settings of southern Vermont. So we're glad to have you join us. Let's go take a look at what all happens here at Friesians of Majesty. You're with us on
family, and we only want the best for them. No standing water means clean, good tasting, algae-free, mosquito-free, and virus-free water. No risk of electric shock, no risk of fire from faulty wiring. Cool water in the summer, warm water in the winter. Water delivered fresh from the water supply at 50 degrees year-round. Drinking post water.
Horses! Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Now the magnificent Friesian horse, originating in the province of Friesland in the north of the Netherlands, near extinct by the end of World War I. The Friesian horse is known for its grace, its beauty, its fluid movements, and majesty. Always black, always bold, and always beautiful. Join us on a visit to Friesians of Majesty, a beautiful facility in Vermont, right here on Speaking of Horses. Hey, Speaking of Horses TV, Wayne Williams, we're here with Robert Labrie. Now, we're in Friesians of Majesty's barn, one of the barns, here in beautiful Vermont. So, welcome, Robert, and tell us a little bit about how you got from a different career to this Friesian career.
Well, when I was a young lad, 6 years old, on my grandfather's dairy farm in Massachusetts, he already had 125 head of Holstein that he milked, and he always had 4 or 5 horses on the farm. And I loved being with the horses, and I hated milking cows. So I got to take care of the horses. And I can remember sitting on my grandfather's lap at 6 years old, him teaching me how to drive a sleigh going through a fresh snow in the field. And I loved that. And I fell in love with that. And when I was in high school, my grandfather died suddenly of a heart attack. My uncle took over the farm, and he sold all the horses. So I went a long time with no horses in my life. And I got married in college, and so struggling with getting through school and being married. And then a year after that, we started having children, and forgot all about horses. And I started a paving company and an asphalt paving company, paving home driveways. Got wrapped up in my business and growing that as a young man in my 20s. And then when I was 49 years old, I sold the company. I had an asphalt plant, a rock quarry. I had 62 employees when I sold the company, and was really missing horses in my life. And so I wanted to get back into horses again. So I took an early retirement and moved to Vermont. I had 350 acres I had bought here in 1984, and then in the year 2000 I bought these 300 acres here, giving me 650 acres here. Built my first barn and got 3 Friesians. That was my plan, to have 3 horses. And then I fell in love with this breed and started breeding them, and now we have 85 of them here.
Wow.
So I'm no longer retired, I just have a different career.
Different career. Well, you know, we've worked together many times at like Horse World Expo in Harrisburg, and when you come in with your Friesians into an arena to put on performance for somebody, it's just fantastic.
Well, thanks, Wayne. I enjoy doing those kinds of things, and we do the Harrisburg World Horse Expo is where you and I met, and I do the Equine Affair in Columbus, Ohio, the Equine Affair in Massachusetts, the ISHA World Champion Show in Lexington, Virginia. Those are shows that we do every year that we exhibit at, and I enjoy driving the horses and working with the people and doing the whole show.
Now here at your Friesians of Majesty, here at your farm, and we're going to show a lot of this as we progress, but you do you know, bus tours, you do camps for girls and all those things, so there's a lot of activities for people to come here, see your facility, and more importantly, see your horses.
That's correct. We have the bus shows. We do about 65 shows a year from the 1st of May through October, and we do the women's camps once a month, April through October, and we do weddings with horse and carriage. I just bought a hearse. We're starting to do funerals with the horse-drawn hearse, so we're big into breeding. We have 20 really good quality, top quality Friesian mares that we breed, and this little 4-year-old behind me here, she is the one we just flushed here today with embryo transfer. She's doing really good in dressage, so I want her babies, but I don't want her to carry because I want to keep her dressage going because she's doing real good. So that's why we did the embryo transfer with her this morning. And the camps that we do here, I enjoy doing that. I like working with the kids. I like working with the ladies, and we have our women's camps once a month. And the breeding and the training for dressage and the training for driving, we're really good at here.
You really are. And what we're going to show you now is we're going to show you some of the many activities along with your breeding program, artificial insemination, embryo transfer, the way they do the ultrasounds and everything that you do here that is just amazing in the breeding program, and also the quality of the horses in the ring, show ring, driving or dressage. It's all here at your place, and we really appreciate it.
Well, I hope you enjoy everything you're about to see, and I've had fun working with you the last couple of days doing these things.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, and Robert, we appreciate it. We're at Friesians of Majesty. It's right there on his shirt, and we got a lot to show you, so watch, because this is interesting. You're with us right here on Speaking of Horses.
So just tip your upper body back a little more. Put some bend in your elbows. There you go. That looks nice. And squeeze them forward into that new contact. If you want making you go that fast, that's great. But keeping your train, make pretty smaller circles, so it's not so easy.
Hello, my name is Robert LaBrie, and I'm the owner and operator of Friesians of Majesty in Townsend, Vermont. And we have a high school girls camp going on here right now, a week-long camp, and it's for girls between the ages of 12 and 18. And we take 12 girls at a time, and they stay right here on the premises with our cottage and our loft apartment that we have. And my wife Lori does a great job of feeding them and taking care of them. And we're going to show you some of the activities that we do during that week, whether it's riding and driving and breeding. And you're going to see a lot of fun games going on, and sit back and relax and enjoy what we're going to show you. And those we don't need, and that's okay. We'll put it away after.
So here's your saddle. This is what your driving lines run through, and then running back to your bridging strap and your crupper strap. This right here is the bridging strap. This is how much basically space is allowed but before the horse starts actually pulling. And then this part right here is the part that snugs underneath the tail. That's called the crupper strap. Now, we don't hang this breeching over the back until after we tighten the saddle, because we don't want it to pull this back, right? So we leave it there, we leave this up on his back, and then we tighten that girth nice and snug. Yep, really cool, because he's pushing out right now. Okay, put that in the keeper. Now that that's tight, we can take our breeching and bring this down, right?
Bring the cart to him.
Good boy. So we always want to have a header when we're hitching. But, okay, so now we're going to take that false martingale, right? Yeah. And it's going to go through the second girth. And then all the way tight to here.
All the way to the top.
Yep. Now these right here, these are called our breeching tieback straps. This controls how tight or loose our breeching is. We want to have about, we want this to be resting against his butt, but we want to be able to fit our hand inside of here, right? That's kind of our buffer zone. So hitch to the ring right there. And then we'll know, so now that it's snapped on both sides, it's against his butt, but I can fit my hand in here without it really squeezing down too hard on my hand. I'll put that in the lift over. I think we can squeeze some more down here.
I just don't feel like walking.
You know, that'd work better if it was on your head.
I know. I didn't get to that time yet. Let's go. Charlie. What?
Okay, so we're going to go down to the outdoor. We're not going to spend for
What did the other one? The other guy said.
I don't know.
The rural American lifestyle. It's how we work, and it's how we play. It's how we learn and how we enjoy the finer things in life. How we take care of our animals and tend to the land. It's a way of life. Has been for hundreds of years. Now there's a whole new way for rural America to watch TV.
EquiAid, the first and last aid for wound, skin disorders, proud flesh eliminator, all guaranteed. Safe and effective water-based, naturally antibacterial. You'll want it in your tack box, in your trailer, on the trail with you or any event. That is EquiAid. Check them out, equiaid.com. EquiEssentials Horse Care Products, a complete horse care package of all grooming, skin care, body care products, all from EquiEssentials. Developed by Dr. Tom Tweeten, these products are all tested and checked to make sure they're safe on your animals, horses, and in some cases dogs and the like. but you need to have Equessentials as a part of your tack box and routine. That's Equessentials Horse Care Product.
For about 2 hours. Straight. Lots of memories. I hate that word. Okay, anyway. So we most of you have cell phones and you're not working. Okay. We have a phone in the lower barn. We have a phone over here in the Nobody knows Fred Ash. How's that feel? Really short. Yeah. Let's pull up so someone else can get on and I'll fix them for you.
He'll probably be George tomorrow.
We always try them down. Maybe one, there could be one hole. Very narrow. No, just
Oh yeah, we gotta put that up.
yeah, it still looks short. No. What do you need to happen? Okay. By how much? Move it. As short as this one goes now, but
And we even had a brand new foal board.
See, you'll see your feet are a little gummy. In a half an hour, they're going to be hard as mom's feet. Stay in the stall.
And that's it, Sun Edition for today. I'm Deborah Norval. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Minutes.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. We're on.
Neighbor?
The first thing that we have to do is to ultrasound her to make sure she has a CH, a corpus hemorrhagium, which produces progesterone to maintain the pregnancy. If there's no CH, no corpus hemorrhagium, then there's not going to be any progesterone and there won't be any pregnancy. We can't see the pregnancy because at this stage the embryo is only 250 microns in size. So therefore, we have to find it with a stereo microscope. So the stereo microscope is in the lab, and we're going to flush the embryo through a micron filter and then take it into the lab and search the filter
for the embryo. So first we have to make sure, by ultrasounding her, that she has a corpus hemorrhagium. And there we have a nice CH right there. That's corpus hemorrhagium from the ovulation she had 7 days ago. That's a really strong CH. That's a good one. So there is a good chance she's pregnant. Whether or not we're going to capture the embryo remains to be seen. And this mare we have no experience with. We're doing a 7-day flush. This is her first time. She's never been flushed before. So she's a young gal, and she's 4 years old. Okay, the cervix is in place. The balloon is blown up, and now we're going to put the flushing media into the uterus of the mare.
Red.
Now we open up the red valve, and it's going to gravity feed out of that bag hanging off of the ceiling. There's 2 liters in that bag. And we're going to put it in the uterus.
We have 3 bags, but you only need 2.
Yeah. Is this the short one?
No.
Alright, so what he's doing in there is this goes inside the vagina of the mare and this gets pushed back into the cervix. So in the cervix, he will put in...
It's going all the way through the cervix,
all the way
into the
through
uterus.
the cervix, and then it gets plugged up with this air with because it's a balloon catheter. Blow it up, and this
Inside the uterus.
stopper.
And that seals the cervix, so it doesn't sneak out.
It's not going anywhere. So then when we're pulling the fluid in, it goes through here, and then at the end of it, we take the air out.
And sometimes unfortunately, when you blow up that balloon, if the embryo is close to the cervix, you're going to squeeze it against the uterus and you're not going to get it. She's not been sedated, and she's just sitting there eating hay, paying no attention to what I'm doing back there. She's 4 years old, and this is her first embryo flush. So you can see how good she's being. And if you look back over the video of what you've seen so far, you're going to see the imprinting that we did on her when she was born is what allows us to have this good behavior at this stage of the game. What I'm doing right now is I just washed the cover off of the filter. Now I'm washing off the sides in case the embryo splashed onto the side of the filter and it got stuck up there. And there's a very, very fine micron screen inside of the filter, and I'm concentrating washing that micron screen out so that if the embryo is stuck on the screen, it'll go to the bottom of the filter dish. So when I put this under the stereo microscope, the embryo has to be in the bottom to be able to find it in 5 seconds, and sometimes it takes 20 minutes.
Yell out hallelujah when the word is bingo. Oh, baby.
I put the flushing media in the first bath. And then this is a protein solution that's going to feed the embryo. and I'm getting the donor mare's bacteria off of the embryo. So the surrogate mare, so her body doesn't reject the foreign bacteria. Okay, so now I'm going to suck up that embryo that I've deposited in the first bath, and now I'm going to put it into the second bath. I'm going to let it sit there for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Now we're going to go into the third bath, suck it up, have it in the straw, deposit it in the third bath for 2 minutes. So now I'm going to load the straw with the embryo in it into the embryo transfer gun. This is the trigger. I'm going to pull that out for now. Take the sleeve, take this out, and now I'm going to load the straw with the embryo
Suck it up out of the
into
third.
the gun.
I'm lifting up with my thumb, depositing into the fourth. Now
I'm going to load that into the straw, and I'm going to suck the fluid up until it hits that chemical. And then it's going to make a wad, very similar to the wad of a shotgun shell. And when the shell goes off, all the babies get pushed out by the wad out of the barrel of the shotgun. The same thing's going to happen here with this embryo. That plastic wad is going to push all the fluid and the embryo that I'm going to capture in the middle. So I'm going to put fluid, gap of air, fluid, gap of air, fluid, suck up the embryo, more fluid, gap of air, fluid, gap of air, fluid, and I time it so now the fluid hits the chemical and hardens up. Then the baby won't fall out of the embryo, out of the straw. So now I'm going to load the straw. And I'm going to do a fluid, then pull it out, get a little 1/8 inch gap of air, more fluid, gap of air, more fluid, suck up the embryo, more fluid, gap of air, more fluid, gap of air, more fluid, and now I suck the fluid all the way until I'm hitting the end of the straw. Now I've got a fully loaded straw to put into the embryo transfer gun. I put the sleeve in, put 1 pound of pressure on the straw, and that seats the nozzle at the end. That seats the nozzle of the straw over that special nozzle there, and now the gun is all loaded. Now I take the trigger, put it in through the hole in the center, and this is what's going to go against the plastic PVC. That's going to push everything out. Now the gun is fully loaded, and I'm going to do just like insemination pipette, where you take insemination, and I'm going to go out to the surrogate mare. They're scrubbing her up right now, and I'm going to go into the uterus with my hand, find the cervix, and I'm going to push this gun through the cervix up into the right horn of the uterus, and when I get it to the end, I'm going to pull back, come on down this end here, and I'm going to take the trigger. I'm going to slide the gun back here into the right horn of the uterus. That's what I'm going to do. So that's how you inseminate the mare with the embryo.
Well, that's our visit to Speaking of Horses and Friesians of Majesty. While we're here for the camp, we're glad you joined us. Join us next time on Speaking of Horses as we take you on another adventure and we see you down the trail. Meanwhile, check out Friesians of Majesty right here in southern Vermont.
Welcome to the world of orange slow feeder, the longest lasting, highest quality slow feed net in the world. We currently have 12 different sizes, and we have anywhere from a small trailer net clear up to a 6x6 round bale or a 4x4 8 square bale net. And you can contact us at orangeslowfeeder.com. We also have a Facebook page, and we're at Pinterest, and we'll be on Twitter soon.
Those fence systems, they're non-conductive, they're self-insulating. They're maintenance free. Beyond that, they're very easy to install. They'll last for years and years. Timeless fence system. And we want to give a great big thank you to Adeptus Animal Nutrition based on science, designed to help your horses and other pets and animals. Adeptus, now a part of the Piranha family. Ah, the magnificent Friesian horse, originating in the province of Friesland in the north of the Netherlands, near extinct by the end of World War I. The Friesian horse is known for its grace, its beauty, its fluid movements, and majesty. Always black, always bold, and always beautiful.